Welcome back to another episode of First Use. And in today's episode, I'm going to go through some of the trades that the Saints went through. So they had a big off-season. They went hard. There was a lot of speculation about the players that they're going after, and they were able to secure a lot of really experienced players that come into their side. But I'm just going to focus on two. One is Sam Flanders, who I've watched quite closely at the Gold Coast Suns. And the other one is Koning, who, as a former Ruck, I've really admired the way he's been able to develop. He's able to get his angles right, his competitiveness around the ground. And yes, he had a bit of a drop in form in the second half of 2025. But oh my God, Saints fans, you've got to be excited about what's coming into your team for 2026. So I'm going to go through just their vision, and I'm also going to back up that with some stats. And so it just gives you a bit of a picture, a bit of an idea of what the Saints and the recruiting officers were thinking about whilst going after these two players. So let's get into the footage now. His work rate to get back into D50, still running, still going. Just awesome work rate, and then how clean he is off the ground. Bang, one touch, hands off. Watch him here. And his ability, not only how clean he is below his knees, but his ability to get his hands through. Watch, whack, one hand, arms up, hands off. This is where he got his goal from. He got his goal from here. Watch his work rate throughout, and I'll speed it up. So you watch him coming across, just follow him as he goes across, still running across the centre, using the corridor as a starting point. Really important as a midfielder. You've got to get back to the corridor, then it allows you to spread. So down the line, still working inside forward 50. Here he is here. And then this is really, really important. Ground ball to get. So instead of getting sucked into the ball, he realizes this is the receiver. Goes at the receiver to make an impact. One touch, goal. Enormous effort. Here, same thing. Watch his work rate. Still there, and then ability to not only get back and be the receiver as a sweeper. Watch his work rate here. Ball goes inside forward 50. Still running. Causes a stoppage inside forward 50. And then this last play here, back of the stoppage, gets the ball. Quick kick. Follows it up. Hands free. Gets a handball off. Still going. Drop of the ball. Who's there? Sam Flanders. Okay, so you've seen some footage, Saints fans, of Sam Flanders. So I'm just going to give you some stats to back up from 2024, which is best year, in comparison to how that would have fit in 2025 for Saints. So we're going to go through that year, 2024. So in that year, he averaged 30 disposals. So in comparison to this year, he would have been the best of the Saints. I think Wanganeen Malira was the best of the Saints at 29, average of 29. He averaged 3.7 inside forward 50. So as you saw in that footage, his work rate offensively and defensively is elite. So he's a great gut runner. So he would have been in the top 4 for the Saints in 2025. He averaged 3.6 clearances. So that would have been the best of the Saints in 2025. And that, and plus contested footy, him and both Tom de Koning, who I'm speaking about in this video, will help dramatically in that area for the Saints in 2026. And the last one I wanted to look at was the Saints really struggled from their rebound 50. So that's defensively, how they are able to springboard from their back half. He averaged 3 rebound 50s in 2024. So that footage that I showed you earlier really backs up his gut running, his ability to get across the ground. and go both ways. So this is where it's going to be really strong, and I'm really interested to see how he's able to implement the 2024 stats for 2026 for the Saints. So Tom De Koning's best game, in my opinion, was this year against Geelong, and he just really was able to use his body extremely well. One of the things, here he is here, it's a boundary throw in inside Geelong's forward 50. One of the things that he has to get better at and sharpen at, and I sort of noticed that throughout parts of the year. It's all well and good to push and all that sort of stuff, but one of the things that a lot of clubs have opposition-wise is they set up really well behind the ball. What I'd love to see from Tom, and this, it can be easily implemented, but what it does, it brings in the midfielders, and this is what I was spoken about with Sam Flanders, is the ability to grab the ball, which will increase the contested possessions from Kilda overall, because he's really good in that area. But to be able to then get for the hand pass, instead of just dumping on the boot, actually get the hand pass, actually go at the defender, and then it creates space for your players. Now, in this situation, obviously, that's sad, but this is what you can actually, this is what he can implement for St Kilda in 2026. The other thing, and I'm really big on this, so bounce is gone, and it's going to favour the jumpers or both. But what I reckon is going to happen in 2026, and it's still to be determined, but Swan, who's come in, really loves the fact of rucks jumping at each other. So you see in this situation, Stanley and Tom De Koning are going at each other. I reckon what they're going to do, and I've previously had a video on this, is they'll have a line like this. So you've got your middle line, of course, where the umpire lines up, but this will almost be a free, like a zone, a clearance zone. And this will help with the umpires, so there's no interruptions from the mids. But I think what it'll also do is it'll actually force the rucks to jump at each other, because majority of the rucks, as we know, is they stand on the line and it forces like a stop play. If that comes into play, it's going to be so hard to stop him because his ability to jump. But he's really good with his hands. So in this situation, ball comes up, the ability to jump. So jump through the ruck, not try and over jump them like a high jump, but jump through the ruck. Really puts their center of gravity off. So he's really flexible and nimble and very athletic to be able to do that, and then be able to get the hands over and get the play. So what's going to happen with St Kilda is they're going to have a right-handed ruck and they're going to have a left-handed ruck. So that really provides a lot of dynamics in the center bounce. In particular, the likes of Wangan and Malira get on the burst. The opposition won't be able to pick because they don't know which way they're going. So there's going to be a lot of homework they're going to have to do because they're going against a right-handed ruck and a left-handed ruck. One of the things he's also really good at is second and third efforts. So here he is. He's involved here in the contest. But when the ball hits the ground, he's really clean. He's very agile and makes really good decisions. So this is another element that brings. I'm not saying that Rowan Marshall does. Rowan Marshall is very good at this area. So for other rucks who are going to opposition, they're going to come up against St Kilda, they're going to have their hands full. And then his work rate. So there's a kick out. Here he is here. Goes up, and Mackay ends up marking this, but it's his work rate behind the ball. So I've spoken previously about how effective Max Gawn is with his off-the-ball running. So off-the-ball running is the ability to work down the ground when you don't have possession. So here he is here. So it's ability to get back and get back quick and then reset yourself. So in this situation, we're sort of going a bit of a slow play because it's near the end of the fourth quarter. Well, they're trying to slow it up, the Blues. And if I just fast forward a little bit, gives the hands, there's Tom De Koning right there. So his reaction time's really, 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 really good here. So the ball goes, kicks it down the line. Here he is here. So he's super quick for a big fella as well. Just leaves Stanley just flat-footed. Comes off, takes a grab. So really, really impressive, and the Saints fans should be really excited about his introduction. I think his best game, as you've shown in that footage there, was against Geelong. He's really dominated and was able to get his angles right at the centre bounce. ability around the ground. But what's going to really be, in my opinion, really strong for the Saints is contested footy. For the total year, he averaged 9. So that's a huge amount of contested footy. But let's go through his stats. So the first half of the year, he was averaging 29 hit-outs per game. That would have been the best of the Saints. I think Marshall was around 25, so it wasn't too much involved, but certainly his tap rucking is elite. It's very good. He can go different angles, and being a left footer and being very unique against all the other rucks who would mainly jump and lead with their right leg. Being a left leg, he can provide many options and many dynamics in the centre bounce of the Saints. He averaged 19 possessions per game, so really high and elite for a ruck. If you're averaging 15, 20 plus as a ruck, you're getting around with the rotations that you have, that's really, really high end. Average 5 clearance per game. So a lot of that was contested footy, so he will take it out of the ruck, uses his body quite well. That's where the smalls have to get involved with St Kilda in 2026. And I think one of the other areas that early on in the year, he would get it and just dump it out with a dunk kick, and a lot of clubs set up behind the ball quite well. What he started to implement into his game, and this is a little bit of Sam Draper does as well, is to actually have some poise and then give the hands to someone in a better position. So that's where he brings into play the Saints midfielders. So that's what I'm really looking forward to him really advancing. And as in total, as I mentioned, he had 9.5 contested possessions in 2025. That was his average for the year, which is high end. Really, really good stats for a ruck. Even though the last half of the year tailed off a little bit, he's a super player, and I think all the Saints fans are going to be super excited to have him on board in 2026. So there you go. There's a little bit of a snapshot on what the St Kilda Football Club was trying to do in relation to getting these trade picks in. So there's Liam Ryan, there's other players and Silvani that they've been able to attract to the club. But I just really wanted to focus on those two because it's the midfield section, midfield connection that's really, really powerful and really strong. And we know that when your midfield is humming, that you're getting clearances out of the centre, you're getting clearances around the ground, and you're providing more entries inside forward 50. So they get the likes of King back, healthy and fit, and then they've got the really good connection through the midfield. They're going to be a source to reckon with in 2026. But I just wanted to focus on those two players. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for all tuning in. Thanks for following, and look out for the next video that I do about trades and what eventually happened over the trade period.